frolicking friends, and welcome back to the Watercolor Berry Pastel CAS Rainbowcy. Last time we saw Gossamer Watercolor, who is our white founder, and her first husband, Heliotrope Shiraz, have their 3 beautiful children. And I'm super excited today to introduce to you a new third sim coming on the scene. So this is Folly Weigela. Just looked it up. It's actually Weigela, who was made so lovingly by Sweetly Sims, or my friend Rami. And so yeah, this cutie pie is her aspiration is a soulmate. She is romantic, ambitious, and childish, and so I'm super excited to introduce her to you and of course get into the fun baby making aspect of this challenge. So you may remember that Gossamer and Heliotrope weren't feeling as close to each other as they were in the early years of their relationship, and that Heliotrope is a commercial fisherman. And so one night while Heliotrope was out on a fishing trip, there was an intruder and Gossamer called the police in a panic. Folly Weigela responded to the call. She and Gossamer felt an instant connection, and Folly took it upon herself to continue checking in on Gossamer over the next several days, since she'd known that her husband, Heliotrope, was out of town. Her romantic heart was worried that harm would come to Gossamer while her husband was away. Their bond deepened until they were constantly hanging around each other. One night, a wine night on a rainy, stormy night, took an unexpected turn, at least for Gossamer, who had always considered herself straight, and Gossamer and Folly hooked up. Heliotrope returned the following day, and she confronted him and told him what had happened and asked for some space to figure out the confusing feelings she was having. She took some time focusing on her painting and the kids, but finally came to terms with her sexuality and realized that she was gay. Her love for Heliotrope would just never be enough. It was a hard conversation, but Heliotrope understood and moved out. Gossamer and Folly started dating, and it wasn't long before Gossamer had a little bun in the oven. She gave birth to an inquisitive little girl, Mara Cherry Watercolor. As Mara grew, her inquisitive nature had her studying the world around her. She liked to figure out the way things worked. She, of course, excelled in school, but one day in the 7th grade, she found out one of her classmates had cheated on a big test. After confronting him and seeing he wasn't going to turn himself in, she spoke with her teacher. The boy came from a rich, important family, so it was only surprising to Mara when nothing of consequence happened to the boy. It was then that Mara discovered that having all of the knowledge in the world would only get you so far. You also needed money. I'll leave you to continue watching Mara's makeover, and then I'll be back to introduce our 5th and final baby. Gossamer and Folly were living in pure happiness, and it wasn't long after Mara's birth that they had a small wedding ceremony with just the family around. Even Heliotrope was there because although things didn't work out with him and Gossamer, he understood and they remained friends, although things were always a little bit awkward between himself and Folly. A few months after the wedding, Gossamer discovered she was yet again pregnant. This little bundle was also another baby girl, Paramore, who was a little charmer. She found her way into the hearts of everyone around her. She had both her mothers wrapped around her fingers and even her older siblings, although it was her big brother Phlox that she had the most special bond with. It's a debate of nature over nurture to where her mischievous evil spirit came from. Was she evil from the start and thus why she bonded so much with Phlox, or was it merely the bond and looking up to him as her older brother that directed her that way? I suppose we'll never know. Despite her charmer ways as a baby girl, as she grew older, she was quite uninterested in crushes. She preferred crushing other things, like the desserts of her classmates' lunches she would steal. Despite her harsh exterior, though, she did secretly want to fall in love. So as we wrap up Paramore's makeover, I felt like it might be a good thing to just let you guys know what the Generation 2 rules are for this Berry Pastel Rainbowcy. So the next generation is supposed to be passionate about writing, but they're a bit of a homebody, and then they end up meeting their mate on a once-of-a-lifetime trip, who ends up kind of being a culinary chef type person. So I'm not sure if that'll be helpful in deciding which of these Gen 2 babies is your favorite, but I figured I would let you know that's what's coming. I'll let you finish watching Paramore's makeover, and then I'll be back to reintroduce all 5 of the kiddos. Alrighty, it's that time. Let's go ahead and reintroduce all of our Gen 2 babies. You can decide who your favorite is and get to voting. So this is the eldest, Iceland Watercolor, and he is gloomy, lazy, and his current aspiration is a computer whiz. Is Iceland, and then his twin sister is Polaris Watercolor. This is our girl Polaris. So she is genius and an insider, and then her aspiration is leader of the pack. Then we have their little brother, Phlox, who is my original evil sim and also a recycled disciple, and he has the chief of mischief aspiration. So this is Phlox. And then, oops, that's Folly. And then, of course, we get together with Folly and have 2 more daughters. So this is Mara Sherry, kind of like maraschino and cherry merged together. And so anyway, this is Mara Sherry Watercolor, and she is a genius and also materialistic, and then has the fabulously wealthy aspiration. So that is Mara Sherry, or Mara for short. And then her younger sister, the youngest of all of these guys, is Paramore Watercolor. And so she is my evil, unflirty little sim who is a secret soulmate hunter. Like, her aspiration is a soulmate, if you didn't gather that. Yeah, so those are the Gen 5 babies. So the poll will be down in the description below. You'll have to let me know in the comments as well who your favorite baby is. Maybe you have multiple favorites. I'd also be interested in knowing any little headcanons you have for these guys. I also have them up on the gallery if you're interested in downloading these guys. I don't have any CC links or anything, but if you want to know where something is, feel free to let me know. Probably Tumblr's the easiest way unless you're part of the Discord. So thank you so much for watching, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this first generation of this Berry Pastel Rainbowcy Create a Sim version. Have a wonderful day and happy simming!